Hey everybody, Hope Clark here. Hey, I just wanted to share an epiphany that I've had recently. Thank you to my upline support lesson and all of the amazing books and courses that I've been a part of, and Brian and Veronica and lots of people have finally gotten in through here. And I just keep having epiphanies now here recently that are just incredible. And so I wanted to share it with you. I've shared it with a couple of you. This has made a big deal in my mindset, a big shift in how I'm daily operating. And so I really wanted to share it with you. It's this idea between attraction and leadership. And we have this concept here in our in doTERRA leadership, actually, that I think is kind of undermining what we really want to create. And so I want to kind of show you how I saw that in my life. So first of all, it's not we think of these things like concepts, like law of attraction. I love law of attraction. Law of attraction is amazing. I believe that we are children of God and that the universe was designed to respond to us that way. I love leadership. I've read lots of leadership books, and I believe it's an honor and a calling in our lives to be leaders in those around us. But when we talk about them as concepts and we read books, but we don't operate that way, it's concepts. And so we've got to stop leaving them as concepts, and we've got to start making them operating ways of being in our life. It's attracting. It's not attraction, law of attraction. It's attracting. And it's not leadership, it's leading. Am I leading? Am I leading myself? Am I leading others? Am I leading? And so when we start making that an I am statement in our life, things start shifting. So here's what happened. I was sharing my primary intention for the day with my upline. And my primary intention was I am attracting, launching, and empowering strong business builders. I'm running a doTERRA business, and so I want to grow in that area. And I've had a hard time maintaining my focus in recruiting. So she said, "Oh, that's nice. That's great." And then we had a wonderful call, and that was that. And then the next morning she texted me back and said, "I was thinking back for my primary intentions that I really embodied back when I was becoming Diamond." And she said it was something more like this. It was, I am building my leaders and leading my team to success now. The second one was, I rejoice in the victories every day and am building a foundation that will last for years to come. And so I felt both of those and was like, wow, those are really powerful. And then she responded back and said, yeah, they're very I am. They're standing in my power. And she used the word source, which is a concept that is a part of an amazing personal development course that I've had the privilege of taking that really helped me embody this concept. It's basically the concept of sacred ownership, taking 100% responsibility for everything that happens in your life, in your business. And she said, when you stand in sacred ownership or source, you stand in this ownership of what's happening, there's no room for waiting. No room for waiting. However, I'm attracting builders is waiting. It is creating inside a limiting belief. And when she said that, my brain cracked open because I realized for the first time that attracting was waiting. It's waiting on them to come. It's waiting on you to be ready. It's waiting on the environment to be right. It's waiting on doTERRA to do a great promotion, waiting on somebody to call you back, waiting on the weather to be nicer, waiting on you to feel better, attracting is about finding a space where it finally happens. Whereas leading, I am standing in this space of, it's like sacred ownership or source. It's a decision to be 100% responsible for what happens in your business. She said, I stood in 100% responsibility. It's okay to stay in the waiting and to stay in attracting if you're okay with giving up 100% of the responsibility and 100% of the control, if you're okay with waiting. And I just sat there kind of like, I'm finally getting this, that we can create all we want in this space of attracting and waiting, but it's not going to head to where we want it to go, because then what happens is when we're waiting, we start feeling trapped And then we start placing judgments. Well, I must not live in a great environment or a good neighborhood. Well, doTERRA hasn't come out with a good promotion recently this week, or well, they didn't call me back and they should have. They should have because that's socially polite. or they. We start blaming because first it starts with a judgment on them and a refusal to take responsibility on our part. And then we start, it starts this whole sequence of a stall out. Now you don't have anybody responding back to you. You don't have people coming to your class. Things are falling apart. You're waiting on leaders to launch their own classes, or you're waiting on somebody to call you back, or you're waiting on your, it's like the waiting place in Dr. Seuss's book, Oh, the Places You'll Go. Oh, the places you'll go until you get to the waiting place. And then you're just waiting for the sun to come up, waiting for convention to come, waiting for doTERRA's promotion to come, waiting for them to call you back. You're just in the waiting place. And you know what you attract when you're in the waiting place? People who are waiting. So then you're all just sitting around waiting and thinking somebody else is supposed to be doing something. And what's crazy is I think there's something detrimental about that, that I'm hearing that I've learned, or I'm hearing in doTERRA mindset, when we say you need to meet somebody where they are. You need to wait for them to show up and then meet them with that level of energy. The problem is they don't know what they're doing and they don't know how to do it. And they're looking for you to show them and teach them how to do it. And so by saying we should meet them where they are, or we should just match their level of investment, or just match them, we're reducing our own energy to try and meet them where they are, and it's not taking them anywhere. Whereas, so what ends up happening is a stall out, and then you start having, people ghosting you, not responding, not wanting to set up a loyalty rewards cart, not wanting to do a lifestyle overview. And then it's just a perfect setup for you to blame them and it not be your fault. It's always the other person's fault, right? No. Whereas if you stand in a space of 100% responsibility for what's happening on your team, 100% responsibility for what's happening in your world, then you would take ownership, and then you would start to take action. And there would be excitement. And you'd be like, hey guys, this is what I'm doing. This is where we're going. This is what's happening. Come join me. Come join me. And that's what Lassen was saying, was that's what happened for her. She would come in and say, this is what we're doing. And everybody would get on board. And even when they were resistant, she told me a story about, calling a friend and saying, hey, I'm excited to come out for class next week. And they said, class isn't happening. Things are falling apart. I think we should cancel. And she said, oh, no, I'm coming. I've already set the ticket. I'm coming. And it ended up being a great trip, and enrollments and conversations and things began to shift and move forward as people's mindsets began to open. And so then you start to see this synergy effect as power, sacred ownership, leading is standing in power. It's like standing in your power. As the power starts getting transferred, and this power starts happening, and it starts filling others with power to take action. It's exciting. It's fun. The problem over here is, I think, this whole idea of waiting to match someone's efforts to mentor them or to help them, we call that empowerment. We use the excuse of saying, oh, well, they need to do more, so I'm empowering them. The problem is that's not accurate. That's a fallacy. We're not actually empowering them. We're not taking responsibility for them and for their journey and for how we're mentoring them. We're making it their fault. And I think it's really been devastating for my culture and my team, and for me, and for like the mindset of us. We're all like, when's COVID going to be over? And when's things going to change? And it's time for us to take 100% responsibility for on our team. If we feel like we're stalled out or people are ghosting us, it's time to look back and go, well, where did I judge them? Where did I make them wrong for not doing more so that I could take a break? And I think if some of you are saying, well, I feel overwhelmed, I feel I was spread too thin. I was overwhelmed. Well, then the problem is you were never standing in sacred ownership. Because if you're standing in your sacred source, your sacred ownership, like God lives in me and I decide every day what I put my time into, then you get to choose that. Then at the end of the day, you're going to rejoice over the things you chose to do. However, if your day gets filled with things other people want you to do, and then you resent that, like, oh, they're making me do this. Oh, they need me to do this for them. Oh, they need me to. Then you start resenting. And that's what leads to overwhelm. That's what actually leads to this resistance of all the busyness and push off. And then you should do more. And actually, I'm empowering you. That's not empowerment. That's a way for us to deflect or blame because we feel overwhelmed, because we're doing things not out of a sacred space of ownership and decision making. Like, I decide I'm doing this for me today. I'm doing this for my business today. We're doing it. They need me to. Oh, they want me to. We've got to stay on this side. And we've got to be leading ourselves in business every day and take full ownership for our businesses every day and take full ownership. So when people respond with no answer, no response, or they say no, it doesn't faze us because we're not doing things based off of how they respond to us. We're doing things because we chose to, I'm building my leaders, I'm leading my team to success today. This is what I'm doing today. I'm building my leaders, I'm leading my team to success today. And so all the things you're going to choose to do will be fun and vibrant and active and engaging, and there won't be space for you to get discouraged or to blame because you're taking ownership. So this is, I think, a really exciting principle that I'm beginning to really embody. And I just wanted to share with all of you, with my team, so that maybe you could chew on this a little bit. I'd love to have your feedback and hear what you're seeing and hearing and all of this. This is just my perspective. But I wanted to share it with you because I love you and I value you. And I really want, like Jim Rohn said, the prize of winning a goal isn't the goal itself. It's not the rank. The rank is a privilege. The income is a privilege. But the prize, the real prize of reaching a goal is the people we become along the way. It's the life change that happens along the way. And so I encourage you to really experience, really feel through this and begin to transform yourself. Take ownership of your own transformation, co-creating that with God, but step into some sacred ownership of what's happening in your life and watch what happens. Love you all.